Again, read the direction, then put your beta out. Hey guys, Sets here, not going to waste your time. I'm going to show you guys how to make the most out of Tech Shoto and make you the Todoroki you were meant to be. Alright, so quickly, the alpha has 2 knockback hits, so if you hit them twice with the alpha they get knocked back. If you hit them from like, you know, a close angle, they will get frozen in place, and once they're frozen in place you can hit them with the beta if you wish. When you have one of these betas out, if you want to explode it, you can't do it by hip fire. You need to aim at it. Once you aim at it, as you can see, then it will explode. What else have I got going on in my brain? Gamma, when you throw a gamma out, they can't shoot through that. So on the other side of that, if they are basically attacking in your direction, they're not going to be able to get their projectiles through. But be be wary. People like All Might, Kirishima, blah blah blah, they are going to be able to hurl themselves through it and attack you with their hyper armor and similar kind of things. So be on the lookout for that. Also, best times to use your gamma are when you're in an enclosed space like this. Basically, in enclosed spaces, when you throw this out, you basically make it, a room of death, a room of fire, like Kane's Inferno match in WWE. Side note, he had his own special type of match, the Inferno match, Kane, and he always lost them. How do you have your own special type of match in the WWE and you always lose them? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, moving on. Anything else that comes to mind? I think that's pretty much the most of it, really. You can combo and basic combo and mix it in with your beta. I don't think it's true. I think if someone is clued up to it, they will be able to dodge it or, do a move to get out of it. But most of the time, most players, when they get caught in a combo, they're just kind of going to stand there and take it. And before they realize that you're trying to, switch up with another quirk, they're not really going to clock on. So a lot of the time, if you do catch someone like that, you could even throw out your gamma there as well. Again, I don't know if they're exactly true combos in the sense that the other person can't do something about it if they are waiting to do something about it. Just so happens most of the time they aren't waiting to do something about it. Whenever I've done it, it's worked for me. So yeah, I'm not going to exactly stake my life on that being 100% safe all the time. But overall, it is pretty good. Obviously, his special action is still the same. It's not the most amazing special action in the world, but when you mix it with his gamma, you can confuse some people, block some people off, and do all that, good old stuff when it comes to dealing damage or locking down areas. Alright, I didn't want this first part to be too quick. Remember, this is not a combo guide. This is not a full combo guide. I'm sure someone else will do that. This is just going to be a video showing you some stuff to get you started. And then we're going to go into some games real soon to show you in live, gameplay of what you should be looking to do, how you should be looking to apply it, get you in the right mentality to play Tech Shoto, and essentially just not have you running around looking like a chimpanzee out there, ooh-oohing and ah-ahing, and not really doing much of anything with Tech Shoto. So we're going to change that. We're going to make sure that you are going to be putting your best Tech Shoto out there, and you're going to be thinking about the right things when you get into those games. So now that we've got that out the way, nice and quick, under 4 minutes, we're going to go straight into the games. I'm not going to be doing too much talking in those, except from when I'm showing you things that you need to look out for. So not going to be much witty Setano talk that you're used to. We are just going to try and shoot through these games, and I'm going to give you as many tips, tricks, advice, guidance, whatever it is, as much as I can, so you guys can be, real icy hot bastards out there. Alright, let's get started. Okay, first game of analysis. When you see somebody going up above a ledge, when you're trying to aim your alpha over it, don't aim at the ledge itself. Try to aim a bit above the ledge, because then there's a chance, like when you saw I landed that hit not too long ago on the Deku, that the alpha will go over the edge and progress to hit the person. Also, start to know your range. You see that? Me and that Shoto, we traded betas there because we both sort of had an idea of roughly how close we needed to be. And then we had the exact same thing within seconds later, and I realized that, I knew my range quicker than he did, and I managed to take him out first. So know your range, or at least have an idea of what your range is for your betas, and then you can basically spear people from as far away as possible, which is really, really huge, and can take a lot of people by surprise, because a lot of people just, even though they know how far that thing can go, they just don't think it's going to reach them. So know your range for your beta, and as you can see again with that Shoto there not too long ago, you can catch people before they catch you, and it can be the difference between downing someone, or getting them low, or stopping yourself from taking an attack instead. what you're gonna see here, I'm gonna hit the all for one soon with a beta, and then once I hit him with the beta, you're gonna see me explode the ice bridge while he recovers. So I'm gonna show you that in a second, and then you can start implementing that into your game. So watch this. Hit him with that. Because I saw him air recover, this is when you're going to be able to do it, when people air recover. When they just stay and lay down, you're going to have to time it differently. But most people, they air recover, or they land on the ground, or they're about to land on the ground, and they do the air recover anyway. So if you wait like just a little bit, wait for those frames to give that flash, and then detonate your explosion after you've hit with the beta. And then you can essentially land a beta for damage, and then as they are air recovering, if they don't have any sort of means to quickly dash up high into the air, they're going to be primed for the picking for a round 2 on that damage once you explode that beta with your zoomed in alpha. Bang, land the hit. Now I'm keeping an eye. Are you going to do a Rey Mysterio flip all for one? Yes, you are going to do a Rey Mysterio flip. So then I know to myself, okay, he's probably in range for me when I explode this. If he gets out of range, doesn't matter. I got my initial hit. If he is in range, bonus points. And turns out he was, because he did that, you know, the air recovery. And the air recovery makes your iframes go away sooner. So when you hit them and then the airframe, so yeah, the air iframes go away sooner because of the air recovery. Then you basically, again, you're going to need to get this timing on your own. But you probably get the hang of it by watching when I do it. You'll stop them from, you know, being able to move out of the way, and you can get a land-up shot pretty easily. Again, if they're like a Bakugo or a, you know, Assault Shigaraki, they might fly up. But again, you may as well try it. A lot of characters, even that have mobility, don't get out of the way of it. And as you can see, on this Kirishima, I landed 2 of those. I didn't land the betas, I don't think, but I landed the explosions. Now, when you're coming into, you know, small circles like this, the circles are coming down, you want to basically be putting your beta out in positions. The first one I hit him with, if you go back and check, I didn't even know he was there until I exploded it. You can just put it out in areas where you think there are going to be people, edges of circles, for example, or corners, you know, things like that. And that's going to make people, you know, if they are hanging out in those corners, they are going to be vulnerable to these explosions because of the AoE on it. Doesn't matter if you miss the ice bridge, you can just explode them. As you can see here, when I'm throwing out those gammas were not intentional to hit anybody. If they hit somebody, great, but that wasn't the point of those gammas. Remember when I said that those gammas block off damage coming in your direction? I realized there was a lot of people in that way, and I didn't want people hitting me from that side. So as I'm fleeing to where I want to go, I use the gammas to cross off the side where I'm trying to come away from. If I know danger is from that side, the gammas stop shots from coming from the side I'm fleeing from, and allows me more chance of getting safely to where I want to be. Speed cards are a great thing for Tech Shoto. Try to get hold of those when you can. Keep one always around if possible. And also, you know, just hold your nerve. Sometimes, like, look at that. Sometimes just hold your nerve. Unfortunately, you know, that Shoto came to ruin it. But this is good for you guys to see, to, you know how to move in these tricky situations, because look, you can also dodge that. Remember, there's timing on that, similar to All for One's pull-in. You just got to dodge before the explosion happens. Otherwise, I get hit by that and I go down. And again, I threw those gammas out in a direction where I thought somebody might be in the corner. The gammas and the betas application are very similar. You typically want to put them in areas that make people uncomfortable, where you think people are hiding, where you can control someone by either making them not come towards you or keeping them where they are. So throwing the gammas and the betas out in areas where you think somebody might be camping for a hill, great way to keep them. Did you see what I just did there? Exactly what I've been saying for like the past minute. Throw that beta out in areas where you think people are hiding on the cusps of circles. Then you can explode that and punish them for being in those hidden areas. Now remember, oh, that was nice. That was nice. See, using the beta as well, try to read the direction of people. Remember, that beta goes further than you think. I knew he was going upwards, So I said, okay, take that on your way up there. Unfortunately, I didn't get the explosion with it, but you can see, even if someone's going quite high up, you can still punish them with that beta. Then I used the beta for what I like to call lethargic mobility. I call it lethargic mobility because on other characters, you press a button and you fly. With this guy, you press a button and you can go somewhere, but you have to run there yourself. So it's mobility, but it's not exactly quick mobility or reliable mobility. It's just a means to an end. So I use that because I know that the Kirishima is going to be in here. When you are playing Tech Shoto, if you see somebody is vulnerable and they go inside somewhere, you shouldn't be hanging out on the outside. You should be coming on the inside and trying to create as much damage as possible. So I've run into this small area because I know he's going to be in here. So remember when I said, in small areas, you want to make use of beta explosions. And of course, your gammas. You want to turn it into a ring of fire. Also, I noticed it was a Kirishima, so he is going to basically be trying to hyper armor his way through things. So when you watch my interaction with this Kirishima here, you're going to see that I am aware of that when it comes to my positioning. I try to not get too close to him while doing what I want to do. So I did a lot of damage there with the beta and the gammas. And I decided, hey, I like that so much, I'm going to do it again. Throw the gammas out there. Can you see how I'm hanging out around those flames? I'm hanging out around those flames because I want to make him sacrifice his life and shields if he wants to try and do things to me. Which, as you can see, didn't work out for him at all. So if we go back again, if they take enough damage, they will get knocked back. So again, use some lethargic mobility, climb up, and again, in close space, throwing out the gamma to control the area. And then you have the beta, which is basically like hitting someone with a big spear. Great in close spaces as well. On top of that, you can explode it. You have a lot of options here. And when it's someone who has hyper armor like this guy, do you see the way he's charging me like a raging bull there? You know? You don't want to be standing in the same place, like trying to aim your alpha at him. He will just punch you in the mouth. So you want to let all of this AoE you've put around the place, let that do the work for you. You focus on dodging, which means you don't get hit and he takes damage. And by the time this guy jumps out of here, he's got no health left and my team finish him off. Basically, I did the job myself though. Like, that just goes to show you how well I controlled that space. Okay, we're gonna go into the next game and we're gonna talk some more tips and tricks, more things that we haven't covered yet. Okay, because I ain't moving, you're moving. So immediately, as I got into that, as you can see, I dropped down those gammas. And I dropped them down for control. I wanted to make it hard for those people to move around. Now, as you can see, I'm throwing out these betas because, again, when you're playing with Shoto Todoroki, Tech Shoto, another thing is knowing what people want to do. If you know where people want to be or what they're trying to achieve, you can essentially put your entire kit around what their focus is. All of these guys' focus were each other and the box. So what that meant for me as a Tech Shoto is I am going to put all of my attacks around their goals. And with my attacks around their goals, that means I am more likely to hit those people because that's where they will be. Same thing if someone's trying to go and hide in a building, that is their goal. Then you basically put all of your attacks around that building's entrances on the choke points of that building. Make sure they can't get in or get out without taking damage. So you want to identify what your opponent's goal is. What is it they're trying to do? And when you know what they're trying to do, that's when you can more accurately place your attacks rather than just trying to hit someone in the moment. So as you're going to see here, I'm going to throw down those gammas, make the area hostile, put the put the beta out, got some damage on that. Tried to explode it, but the shield from Darby stopped it. Now I'm taking advantage of the fact afterwards. Again, the gammas are there to you know, make my opponents feel uncomfortable. Lots of damage done to that endeavor. My all for one could finish that off for me. Cheeky little hit down on the the back of that. Poor Cementos, he got it from both of us Shotos there. He was seeing double. Remember, your beta also goes through things. So when you are looking at a surface right in front of you, don't think that can stop you. I essentially put my my beta through Cementos' shield, or shield wall. So remember, the beta basically goes through things. I don't know what the true depth of it is, but it will go through a lot of stuff. You can also get down closer to the ground. That was my bad. I should have done way better there. But we got him in the end. Unfortunately, he had a sniper on the rooftop there. So now here I am, making use of what I showed you earlier. So again, I put the gammas out. The gammas were there to make him uncomfortable and to lead him into where I wanted him to go. That put him right in front of me. Then I hit him with the shield, with the beta bridge, and then I blew up the bridge right when he was there after he rolled out of it. Just like I showed you in the first game. So again, when you know the timing, and if you know that person is going to be air rolling for recovery, you can explode it on time, giving yourself beta damage and then alpha beta damage right after. So as you can see here, caught this Deku in a combo, and immediately as I caught him in a combo, I threw out those gammas. Just like that. So it goes to show you that in, at least in confined areas, tight circumstances, you can start hitting them with combos, and there's a good chance that you will be able to feed in extra stuff, you know, to bolster that combo. So if you watch here, I'm going to show you one of those basic combos into gammas that I talked about at the start. Basic combo, then I switch into throwing out those gammas there. Caught him in the enclosed space, so he didn't really have to, you know, he didn't really have much to think about, nowhere to go. Knew my timings. Don't underestimate the speed of that beta. It comes out pretty quick. You can catch a lot of people off guard with it. I believe that was a gamma I threw out there because I saw the enclosed space. I saw that the Cementos was putting things around him, which was essentially, you know, locking him into something. And then anytime there's a small enclosed space, throwing gammas in there is a good idea. And then we finished him off. I think when it comes to aiming your alpha, you know, there's not really loads of tips I can give you because the alpha is just going to be hard to aim. You're either good at aiming it or not. But what I can do is give you advice on how you should think about aiming that. I think if you're going to do it by hip fire, jumping around and trying to aim slightly above that person is a good call, because then it stops the alpha from hitting into the ground prematurely. Again, we're in a bit of a confined area here, as you can see. You know, it's like sort of that downwards area where the gammas can bounce off the walls and keep going. And we did a lot of damage to this Shoto. Finished him off with the, whatever you call it, the ice bridge. Works really well when you have characters who can stun people, because when they get stunned, be it by, you know, an overhaul, gamma, or a all-for-one pull-in, or, you know, a denki, whatever, when they're stunned, you can hit them immediately with that beta for like a big chunk of damage. At this range, your alpha is always going to be very hit and miss. I wouldn't rely on it too much. Essentially, you just want to try to close distance as much as you can and then rely on that beta and gamma. If you are great at aiming the alpha, then, you know, fair play to you. That's great. But just for most people, they're going to have, you know, a bit of a struggle with it. A lot of times as well, if you notice, when you miss one beta, that person is going to kind of a lot of the time be open to take the second one immediately after. So if you go for a beta and they dodge to the right, you can kind of just turn your camera and say, well, how about this one then? Just like that. So again, I'll show you one more time. There'll be more examples, I think, where I can show you the same thing. That one was a bit unclear. And again, throwing the gamma out. The gamma out is a great way to, you know, incentivize your enemies to not approach you. At that point, I was wondering, is the Toga going to come over and try to knife me? And I was worried about that. So what I just did was sent out some flames. And even if she did think about doing it, she probably would have changed her mind from that because she wouldn't want to take the damage. So yeah, throw that out there. Stop the Bakugo being able to hit me with his ranged. And of course, I knew roughly where that Shoto was, and I was confident that the, you know, the range of the explosion would hit him, and thankfully I was correct. And this All For One did, you know, that tip that I said earlier as well. He iced this guy through the shed. So remember, if you're confident about the placement of somebody, you can just go straight through it with that beta. So if they're hiding in some place like rather shallow, you don't necessarily need to go to the doorway, look inside. Hey, are you in here? Great, let me do it now. You can kind of just spear them through things with that beta. And even if you miss, you can then explode the beta afterwards and you might hit them anyway. Or you might even do both. See, probably what I should have done there. Remember I said how the alphas can guide people to where you want them to be? It worked. I just should have used my ice bridge, but I didn't. So the gamma made her dodge around, basically to stand in front of me, which is where I wanted that Toga. And then I should have used the ice bridge, but I didn't. But you can see through my error, you know what is a good idea to do and what I should have done in that moment. Hero. When you're aiming the beta, because you've probably seen me hit it quite a lot at this point. When you're aiming the beta, again, not with the intention to just create, you know, explosions or blocking things off. When you're trying to aim the beta with the specific intention to hit, always try to look at where they're going to be, because there's going to be a very small delay for when that beta comes out, so you kind of want to aim it where they're about to be in the next half second, unless they're not moving. But if they are moving, then try to just place it ahead of where you think they're about to be, judging by the direction that they're going. Remember, you have to aim kind of off when they're on the ledge, so it doesn't hit the ledge first and disappear. Remember how I said before? When you miss a beta, a lot of the time where they dodge out of the way of the beta, leaves them open to take the second one. So she dodged the first one, okay great, have the second. Just like that. A lot of times when people dodge something, they don't think to dodge twice. It's like they dodge once, my turn to counter, but then you can just say no actually. And then you can throw out that second. Obviously it only works if you have two on hand. So it's your risk to take to, you know, use both of them at once. But a lot of the time, it's probably going to give you cover having both of them out anyway. So again, throwing those gammas out to protect me. As you can see in the bottom right, the gamma has a really good, you know, reload rate. So you don't have to worry too much, you know. Oh, it's not going to come back for ages now that I've done it. No, the gamma is there to be used freely because it does have a good reload rate. So don't hold it in too much. I'm not saying that you need to use it brainlessly. Look at this aim, watch this. Pow. And again, that's because I know my distance. Remember, know your distance to your beta. Get used to it. Get used to knowing how far away someone can be for you to hit that. Especially at the levels that it's got. At level 9, it can go pretty far. It's obviously not, you know, a Deku snipe shot. But if you know the further away you can hit them from, they're gonna least expect it. Alright, more tips to come in the next game. Like Shoto wouldn't break his legs in the show if he tried that. So again, quick thinking on the alpha beta explosion. Remember what I was saying earlier? Look at that. Anticipate where you think they could be, and you can hit people through things with that ice wall. Boom. It's like I was sidekick or something. Again, it's just reading people. And then I threw out those gammas to block off Momo's alphas that she no doubt probably tried to do. Exploded the, you know, the beta. A Deku came to save her. He took a hit. Those gammas were still moving around, doing a lot of damage to people. I think it hit maybe the Momo a few times there. You saw that. And now just like that, 800 damage between two people for 2 easy assists. You know, one of which where I basically KO'd them myself. Again, miss one beta. A lot of the time, they're going to be open for the second. Caught him with a nice combo there. I mean, you're probably seeing, you know, a bit of a pattern here with how you want to use Tech Shoto. Pressure them with the gamma and the beta. I haven't spoken about leveling guide yet. Here's what I would say. You want to focus your beta and your gamma first. The alpha is just not reliable enough for most players. I get it. I am that player set. I can hit. Great. You do you. But for all the other people who have trouble, you know, hitting those alphas, you want to basically prioritize your beta and the gamma. Some people are going to say prioritize your gamma. Some people are going to say prioritize your beta. I will tell you they're both really good to prioritize for Tech Shoto. Prioritize what you feel more comfortable with. Some games I prioritize beta. Some games I prioritize gamma. It's just whatever I feel like in the moment. I don't think there's really a wrong answer. And if there is a wrong answer, it's not by a huge margin. So I would say between the beta and the gamma, get those up first, you know, get those to 4, then, you know, push those up to 7 and 9. Whatever happens with the alpha, happens with the alpha. But I would say put all of your stats into the beta and the gamma. That's where you're going to get most of your damage. That's what's going to be the most reliable. The alpha doesn't really get that much more amazing as it goes up. So focus on the beta, focus on the gamma. Whatever you feel more comfortable with, put the points into that first. You can do 4 and 4. You can, I would say do 4 and 4. Because even both of those moves are pretty good even at 1. So when you get them both to 4, they're even better for what they are. And then put the, you know, the onus on getting one of them to 9. but that's what I would say. Again, I didn't let that cover in front of him deter me. I knew my range on my beta and I made him punish for it. Watch this. Lovely. One more time. One more time. Again, read the direction. Then put your beta out. When it comes to aiming that alpha, again, it's not great, but you kind of just want to aim it where you think they're about to be in the next second, because that thing has travel time. Caught him with the alpha into beta explosion. Sorry, beta into alpha explosion. He got a bit unlucky there. Did the same trick on him twice. Took him out of the game. Sorry, bubblegum Aizawa. But when you're wearing colors that bright, you made yourself an easy target. Bubblegum Aizawa. I feel like I probably should have gotten that beta on one of those guys there that I did just a second ago, but I think the angling from doing it from above, like, effed with it a bit. Okay, I feel like that needs some explaining there. When I come up on that Shigaraki, we're in a bit of an open space. He can see me, I can see him. I don't have anything to hide behind. He's going to throw things along the ground, and they're going to do bad things to me. I know that's going to happen, which is why I throw my Gamma out a second that me and him are face to face. Because that is going to stop anything that he does from going through, anything ranged going through those Gammas, which is going to keep me safe when I have no cover from him. Nowhere to go, no cover. I don't have wings. I can't jump up anywhere. I've got no mobility. So what do? I throw those Gammas out. It protects me, and it still allows me to attack with my, whatever I want to do. It also forces him to go around to an area where I can see him coming. Remember, I tell you this, when you put the Gammas down to block people off, they go, well, I'm just going to go where the Gamma's not then. Okay then, see how that works out for you. You can see their pattern of movement easier because they're trying to evade. Look, right there, he's like, oh, let me go around. He messed up. He took damage trying to get in on that. And then he's taking all of this extra fuss because he made it so easy for me to read his pattern of movement. And that's even with a Froppy coming to back him up. So again, he's coming back into my zone. I'm hitting him with the beta. The more people clock on about the exploding beta, the less they're going to want to get close to you when you have one near you. See that again? Remember what I told you guys about the ledges? You shoot at the ledge, might just get blocked by the ledge. Like that. Then I aimed it a bit higher, and then I got it. Obviously, he moved after that one. But imagine if I had gotten it right the first time. That would have been 160 damage, roughly. Got a nice hit on that. 200 damage, I think it was, or something like that. Around that mark. Judging by the top left and how it changed. Achizo. So again, I know my range and my beta. Here's the thing. Getting good at the beta, it's a case of knowing your range and not hesitating. You see how many betas I land? Not because, oh, I'm so good at aiming it. It's just like, no, I just don't hesitate. I see you in front of me, boom. I don't think about it, I just do it. Nike, you just do it. Another good tip there as well for some of you, Gamma players out there. When someone's down on the ground, if you just want to pressure them, you can just throw the Gamma out in towards the direction where you think they're going to get up. So then they're going to get up and they're going to have the added panic of trying to deal with flames coming towards them. Even if they have iframes available to them, it's still going to worry them and it's still going to make them act a little bit brash. And as you can see, it worked on hitting that Deku there. Just gives them one more thing to think about. Overloading their brain. Again, we're inside. Throw out the gammas. Maybe I'll get some damage. Maybe I'll unsettle some people, put them into positions that favor me more. And remember, Shoto has no mobility. Not real mobility anyway. So a lot of the time, all of this stuff that you can do, all of this control, it basically is your anti-push. Like, hey, don't come near me. I'm not good for you. That's the kind of energy you want to give off, as tech Shotos. Don't come near me. As you can see here, I timed that explosion with his getting up thing. While he was down on the ground, I put a beta wall down, or beta bridge down. And then by the time the beta bridge was down and he recovered, and then I exploded it, the timing was perfect, and it essentially attacked him on wake up. He couldn't have done anything about that. No matter what, he was gonna get blasted. Look at that. Another victim of the air recovery explosion. And then I took him out with that. So again, remember, even if you don't land those betas, you put them in positions where you think they're going to be or where they should be. And when you explode it, even if you, again, didn't get the initial beta, you can get the beta explosion. Just like I did to finish off that Kirishima. Granted, I thought those two previous betas would have actually hit him direct, but I was wrong. So thankfully, again, that mindset of going after the explosion, as long as you're putting him in a good position, very handy. Here's another trick I didn't go too much into yet. It's using your gamma as a means to close distance without taking damage. So as you can see, at this point, I can see this All Might firing off in the direction of me and my team. I want to go and confront that All Might. But there's no way of me walking out there without taking a bunch of blows to the face and chest from Mr. Splash Damage himself. So how am I going to get close to All Might without taking damage? This is why you have two gammas. You can run towards an enemy that is a threat to you from range. Throw out a gamma in front of you. And then follow the path that gamma clears for you. And get as close to the opponent as possible. While having their projectiles blocked. Meaning you can close distance and simultaneously be protected from projectiles. You must be careful though of hyper armor moves in case they decide to push through that. So as you can see, I'm going to get close to this All Might by using my gamma as protection. So it's almost like, you know, sending a wave of infantry out in front of you to let them take the damage for you. Throw that out. And I can close in on him under the protection of this. Punished him there. Again, throw those gammas out because you can shoot through those gammas and it just gives you protection at range from people who can do more damage to you from afar than you can do to them. Another one bites the alpha beta explosion dust. Again, look at that. I use the gammas to protect myself. You can throw the gammas out like they're, you know, portable shields, if you will. Another thing as well. When you're in the air, I knew that me and that All Might were going to get to the ground at the same time if I pressed my beta. Why is that? It's because when you're in the air and you press your beta, you are going to go down to the ground quicker. When you go down to the ground quicker, it means you can catch someone down who might be falling to the ground before you, and you can catch them once they land. So I knew that if I did that, I was going to zoom down to the ground, and then I could, you know, punish that All Might with my beta. If I didn't do that, I would have been floating in the air for longer. By the time I got to the ground, he's probably moved, maybe even attacked me in the air. Look, I can see he's going to get down to the ground before me. That's why I activate my beta. Punish him after I land down at the ground at the same time as him. Throw the gammas out there to protect me from projectiles while dealing damage and adding pressure to my enemies. All of that is to deter Bakugo from making his way over to me. Or anyone else for that matter. And there you have it. Two pretty accurate betas to finish the job. And there you have it, guys. A very casual guide to the new Tech Shoto. Should give you some ideas to put into practice and you know, do out there in some fun games. Any questions about anything, feel free to ask in the comment section. Again, this is not a full-on, you know, in-depth analysis of how to be the very best Shoto ever, but it should give you, again, just some guidance as to what you should be doing, how you should be thinking, how you should approach engagements, and what you should be doing in certain situations. And again, let me know in the comments if this has been helpful to you, if you've learned anything from it. Maybe you already knew everything in here. But either way, I just wanted to put this video out so a lot of you struggling to, you know, make the most out of Shoto Technical, you can, you know, at least maybe sharpen up your gameplay with some of the stuff I've told you to look out for here. Again, when it comes to aiming that alpha, that's just going to be a case-by-case basis. I've told you what I can about it. But outside of that, I think everything else in this video is good information to put to practice. And yeah, have fun out there. Like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.